Welcome back to Beers and Brews. We're still doing our Halloween Spooktacular for 2024, so if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe or follow no matter where you're listening. Not only does it help us out, but you'll know exactly when another one is brewing. Gentlemen, sometimes you just have to shift into Maximum Overdrive. What'd you think?
Yeah, I can't believe that we haven't talked about this movie yet. We've been doing this podcast for 4 years and been talking about this movie for probably the entire 4 years. Maximum Overdrive, I probably didn't see it for the first time until about a year or two ago. I got a rewatch in last night, and man, this is actually really enjoyable.
It's a lot of fun. It really is. It's so damn goofy, but man, this is a shitty movie. I just have to put that out there. It barely works on its own, but it's so special. Man, there's just something quirky about this movie that just makes it rewatchable.
Oh no, I didn't want to give the impression that this was a good movie. It's an enjoyable movie for sure. It's
right.
Not good.
The equivalent of like a murderous Lifetime movie. You know what I mean? If you put it on the Hallmark channel and they had a movie about killer trucks, this is it.
So all we need is like Emilio Estevez's love interest to be like that lady who used to live in the town, but she moved out, got real successful. She came back, found love with Truck Man or Repo Man.
Yeah, it's really like if Lifetime and Sci-Fi, those two channels, got together and, they collabed on a project. This would be that project, as long as there was a lot of cocaine involved.
Ooh.
It's called cocaine, and you don't want no part of this shit.
Baby, the bank machine called me an asshole.
If the movie stopped right after that, it'd be 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, the opening scene of this is kind of classic. We actually get Stephen King, who is the author and director of this wonderful film, approaching an ATM machine, and it, with no hesitation, calls him an asshole.
It's one of those scenes, too, to where, again, as a child, growing up, seeing these movies, it was one of those things that put a smile on you immediately, and it kind of set the tone to let you know, hey, man, we're going to get a little weird with it. Have fun.
What's it do? It turns all your bad feelings into good feelings. It's a nightmare.
Oh man, I don't know if it's that like cordial, like, hey man, let's do some weird shit. It's just like, I can see that whatever choice floated around production, everybody's like, I don't have to worry. It's Stephen King.
Yep, he's got this. He's a legend. Meanwhile, a sign scrolling across the bank simply reads, "Fuck you."
That's the man's genius.
Yep. He's still got it.
In fact, this movie's first folly is that it doesn't even take place in Maine. What the hell is that about?
Wilmington, North Carolina. By the way, I do have to mention, we do get a little sci-fi explanation, blurb just from the beginning. It tells us on June 19th, 1987, Earth passed through yada yada, some space stuff, there's a comet. That's why all this shit's happening. But the real takeaway is June 19th. All the events of this movie took place on Juneteenth.
In North Carolina, perhaps big rig trucks are in fact needful things.
Oh.
That's a fair point, yeah. I was like, was this 86, 87? So like trucking was still just ridiculously gigantic as a job.
Yeah, this movie does go over the top.
Let's wait till Vegas, okay?
You know what randomly came up on a playlist for me yesterday? Convoy. Kept thinking about that song through the entire movie. Why don't they use that? Not once.
Well, I mean, the singular convoy in this movie is just stationary, so that's super exciting. They're just sitting there.
Preface it by going, parked, convoy.
Just got to drop it once. That's all you need.
Well, speaking of needle drops, we have to talk about this movie's musical influences because they are varied.
Are they? Varied within the artist? Varied within...
Well, okay. Well, the joke is all of the music is provided except for one track by AC/DC.
Yeah, and you kind of forget about it until the 5 minutes that passes before you get another AC/DC song playing.
It's so crazy. The needle drops in this movie make zero sense.
I'm glad that you say that because, why is there no drop of... there is a drop of Who Made Who, but not where you would think.
That's kind of it, right? This movie isn't quite a hodgepodge. But, all the focus in a particular scene is just, somewhere it shouldn't be, right? So, we have this allowance. We can use a famous AC/DC song. Cool. But nothing happens when it plays. Not a fucking thing.
They don't even use like a sweet ass fucking lick from any song whenever something bad happens. Instead, they use this like psycho-ish,
Right.
almost like a fucking wrestler intro.
Yeah, it's pretty weak.
My biggest complaint regarding the soundtrack is when they are going into, they just barely start the beginning of Hell's Bells and they don't complete that intro. That's the best fucking part of the song. You're going to skip ahead to the part of the song that sounds just like every other AC/DC song? Come on.
They chopped up a whole bunch of stuff. Even like the little intro that we had just talked about. Yes, an ATM calls Mr. Stephen King an asshole, but at the same time, we have a little perilous situation on the drawbridge because space farts making all these mechanisms go wild and kill people. Now, mind you, I'm a huge AC/DC fan, and I love the song Who Made Who, but I have to sit through the whole song first before the movie starts.
Along with that wonderful truck full of watermelons, like, come on, we are wasting delicious fruit here.
Remember when that guy got out of his car and he's like, whoop, and fell on those watermelons? Classic.
Cinema.
It's just an unfortunate window to the rest of the movie, whereas any other prologue, it kind of gives you the sense of like what you're prepared for. This prologue is just lame, and given like the idea of the whole movie that like the space stuff is making like machinery come alive to kill people, I guess classic Steven thing to do, haha, next time with the lamp. But it's just slow, and that's the same energy throughout the whole movie. Like, it just feels like Stephen King just thought every scene was the coolest thing he'd ever thought of up to that point and just moved on.
Yeah, the whole thing, like this whole like starting up, you know, you get the switches starting to turn, you get knobs turning, you get buttons pressed. Like, that just kind of happens all at once. Then before you know it, it's like the shit has hit the fan and trucks are on the road on their way to, I don't know, this one truck stop for some reason.
It's Camp Crystal Lake. That is why. This is a camp movie. And instead of Jason, you get the Green Goblin truck. He's the big monster, even though there's other trucks.
Yeah.
They're all trapped at the camp, the gas station, and they are being picked off one by one in very creative ways. Mind you, ridiculous, yet creative.
Yeah. This is a Happy Toys Green Goblin truck. It is driven into this truck stop by a black trucker man named Handy. I don't know how he got that name, probably following the rules of the road.
Hey, if it'll get me a couple of 100 miles across the country, I'll take a shot in the mouth.
But yeah, we don't see him in that truck again. It has its own mind at this point.
As cool as the truck is and such a synonymous piece to this movie, you know, it's on the covers, the posters, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
It's just such a far departure from the rest of the movie. Like, I kind of expected more weird looking trucks to show up with more weird shit on them.
And are we supposed to expect that this truck in particular is like the boss truck? Why is this truck featured more than the others? Except for because for some reason it has a green goblin on the front.
So in the movie Gremlins, all the gremlins are murderous, but then you have Stripe.
Right.
Green Goblin truck is the Stripe of this film.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Okay.
So somewhere there's like a Fiat Panda who's really nice.
Yeah,
Aww.
we just don't get that one. You know what I mean? Instead, we get the automated fucking knife that's killing people. Can we discuss, for God's sakes, how different things are killing people and how this works? Like, it's part of what gives it such the charm of making me crack the fuck up watching it. Because a lady is strangled by a hairdryer. Now, don't get me wrong. Everything that is electronic, etc., comes to life and does something. But this thing has somehow defied the laws of gravity and wrapped itself around the woman's neck 6 times.
Look, there are no rules. You know, like that dude in Little Caesars who took his shirt off. There are no rules, right? Like, you kind of hanker that in a movie like this. Like, you have to just, like, set up the beats and knock him down. This movie was just like, yeah, stuff's alive. Just, you know, broadly gesturing at everything.
Yep. At this truck stop, we've got a server lady who's, you know, because the fry cook is distracted by the boss man, who is basically Jim Justice, right? Distracted by the boss man, so she has to take over on the grill. I got eggs on! And then just gets attacked by this electric knife. Why does this truck stop even have, like, an electric knife? What is it cutting? This ain't Thanksgiving. This is Juneteenth.
Well, what if it's like middle of June heat and I need a turkey sandwich? I'm going to the truck stop. and getting a turkey sandwich, and also diarrhea.
Also diarrhea. Maybe she was preparing for all those watermelons.
That's a fair point, actually. That's a nice little cohesiveness, you know?
Sure. Maybe Stephen King was better at this than we thought.
You know what? It just kind of highlights the issue. It's just like, this movie really focuses on the big picture when, like, all the details, like, everything in the middle just kind of don't make sense.
Does it focus on the big picture, though? Because I want to hear what's going on. Is this going on everywhere, or is it specifically in Wilmington, North Carolina? Because if this is going on everywhere, I want to know what, like, Tokyo looks like. Are we in, like, a post-apocalyptic landscape, or is this just, all right, the cars are back to normal now, gotta go to work?
Yeah, how would one recover from this the day after, when the fart clears up? You know what I mean? Because this all takes place in what, like 48 hours?
2-3 days, yeah.
Yeah, do you go back to work? Or are you like, I'm going to go get in my car? Or is my Humvee going to gun me down like it did that lady? You know?
Right. The mindset's all over the place, because we have these trucks that come to life and are completely sentient, down to being able to communicate in Morse code over horns. But then again, we have an entire subplot in this movie where we have a married couple, one of them being Lisa Simpson, don't ask, who just drives a car into the whole plot of this movie. Like, well, which is it?
Maybe that's our nice Fiat that you were talking about. And they just got married, so I don't...
That car is riding high on life, all right? If it wanted to be the Bumblebee of this film, it was the Bumblebee of this film, all right? This is a prequel to Michael Bay's Transformers, and that's why it explains the cocaine, that's why it explains the explosions, and that's why it explains the titties.
No.
Did I miss titties? Are there titties?
It's just kind of hilarious, and it's just like, I guess, a dude thing. You know, Emilio Estevez, he's like a little cot where he can just kind of stay there, and like on his wall is just like just a bunch of centerfold pasted on the wall and stuff.
Yeah, no, there's a whole lot of cunt on that wall. By the way, Emilio Estevez, who is just like a worker here, he's like a grill cook at this truck stop and on probation or something. Why does he have a whole ass bedroom, and like, where is everyone else sleeping? We end up having like a big group here. He's the only one who gets a bed. What about Big Boss Man?
He had a private shower, Boss Man did, so he may have had a private room somewhere. I think we miss out on it, because he also has a storehouse for all the guns. I think this is more than just a gas station. It's one of those like fancy trucker stops where you can wash up, grab a hooker, spend the night on a cot, and it just so happens that Billy, Emilio Estevez, his cot is the one that anyone can probably access. It's just what he was using that night, because he's the tough guy, you know, so he gets the cot.
Sure.
But who wants to put porn on the wall? Like, I don't want to have my neck craned at like a fucking 90-degree angle.
Well, no, you got to turn around and face it and put your feet up on the wall.
I mean, I guess it just makes as much sense as just standing in the opposite corner with a pair of binoculars. Just like, what are we doing?
Lean back up, put your feet on the wall, and see who you can hit. It's like target practice.
And then go cook some eggs. Right.
Oh, man.
I got eggs on.
Fucking eggs on.
But yeah, we're at the truck stop. We meet all our motley crew of people. We got the waitress that works there. She gets a little chopped up and, you know, makes her a little crazy in the head and whatnot. We got Emilio Estevez, and he's trying his best to start some regulators and whatnot. He's got his boss hog of a boss. He's a total piece of work. And then you just have like 7 or 8 yokels. Just, there they are. And they're just like, no, they're literally just people that live around there. Yeah. That's just all they are.
Yeah, we got a couple of guys that work there, maybe a couple of guys that are stopping in for coffee. And then we end up with a couple of carloads full of just people who end up there. Like, we got the Bible salesman and the hitchhiking hooker, or whatever you want to call her. We got the newlywed couple.
The blind daddy, he was there.
Yeah. One of the gas station attendants filling up one of the trucks at the very beginning gets blinded by some diesel.
And there's that one kid that shows up like a quarter of the way through the movie who also has like an entire other subplot of like he's like a journeyman in this movie. I almost feel like he's basically every kid from Stand By Me.
Oh, 100%. I can see that. Yeah, I have him in my notes as baseball kid. When we start this movie, he is in a baseball game. Game ends. Coach goes to buy everybody some sodas out of the machine and gets brutalized by this soda machine. It is just rocketing these cans of Coca-Cola into his noggin.
Now, on cocaine, that sounds hilarious. That sounds fantastic, even. But on celluloid, it's lame. This whole thing, like, they were just hucking cans at a kid.
They felt that kid in the back, and he fucking eats it. It hits him in the back. You see him grab his lower back and fall on the ground. The last thing you see is this kid screaming in excruciating pain because someone hit him for real with a can of soda.
Yeah. But he has to, like, crawl on the ground like he's a soldier in Vietnam trying to get out of here, trying to get to his bike so he can figure out what's going on. His entire baseball team has just been murdered, by the way.
That's something we gotta talk about, because there's like a pseudo-infamous scene. So one of his baseball buddies is trying to get away on his bike. I guess one of the cars left a stick in his spokes, and he just, like, eats shit. He falls on the ground, and out of nowhere, I'm talking like this is a flat baseball diamond and a field onward, and a steamroller comes out of nowhere, and it's just that scene from Austin Powers, but this kid gets basically rolled out like a tube of toothpaste.
No, go! Get out of there! Go!
Right.
Get out of no, move, run! No, just smoosh.
Now, story has it is that this movie had a NC-17 rating because this scene was not cut early enough, and once the steamroller, like, runs over the kid, spoilers, of course, the entire top of the head kind of exploded because, like, all the visual effects stuff they had in the dummy just came out the top of the head.
Like a tube of toothpaste.
Yeah, but what makes that worse is that, like, it shot out with such veracity that one of the, I think, stuntmen or one of the visual effects gentlemen behind the camera was blinded. He lost an eye because of that. And then, of course, you know, Stephen King being the Coke master himself, he didn't give a shit. He finished the movie.
That is wild.
Dude, that's when he just took a draw off his cigarette and was like, that's fucking cinema right there. You know what I mean? That's a fucking part of me.
I'm a bad man, you know that.
For this scene, as a child, it blew, haha, no pun intended, it blew my fucking mind. Because you did not see children getting killed on film. It just didn't happen.
You still really don't, so it's a real big delight when you do.
This steamroller, if anyone out there has ever watched a wrestling match, imagine if you would, you have your heel and your face, and they're doing battle for whatever storyline is going on, and then suddenly
we get the Undertaker on the Zamboni.
Yes, it's awesome. It's awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We've got people all over the place in this movie. We've got Gaio in the game room.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the gentleman who tried to play some shitty Galaga.
Yeah, but, like, as soon as shit starts happening, like, he's taking advantage. He's cleaning up after the change machine, after the cigarette machine.
It's one of the most sincere part of the movies where, like, the machine starts to go crazy in the arcade room and starts pumping out cigs and quarters. Like, all right, cool. Today's my day, I guess. But unfortunately, the movie's like, no, I'm not done with you. You have to die in a really stupid way. Sorry, chum.
Bank error in your favor? You're still an asshole.
But it's like, once again, it's not even cool. Like, I guess, like, the idea's there, but, like, the execution is nil. He gets entranced, like, with Hypnotoad and touches the side of an arcade machine. Now, to my knowledge, most arcade machines are just, like, fiberboard, wood, maybe some plastic. And this dude gets lit up like he got struck by lightning.
Oh, and what I've got today is from Smog City Brewing Company. This is Lightning Sprites. This is a 6.3% alcohol by volume hazy IPA from Torrance, California. A little bit of banana, mango, all of the classic things that you expect in a hazy IPA that I guess I'm drinking about every week anymore. God, can y'all make some different beers? Anyway, this tastes just like you would expect. There's some mango, there's some pineapple, orange peel, there's all of those things. It is hazy, it is sweet, it's juicy, it's not especially bitter, not especially aggressive. No, this is a fine hazy IPA. I would just like to drink something else.
I'll tell you who wants to drink something else. It's these fucking trucks. And that's where we get to the crux of our film, okay? They have now encircled an entire gas station. They've killed everyone in the world, because if you're not at that gas station, you're pretty much dead.
We don't care about you, at least.
At least. At least. And these boys, they hungry. They gotta eat.
Food.
So what do? They kill themselves with a hunger strike by rallying in a giant circle around the fucking gas station, slowly but surely getting closer and tearing up parts of it, which is kind of fun. If someone's getting killed by one of these trucks, I just want to say every one of these murders that we get to see involving a vehicle, every one of them could have been simply avoided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't do that thing. Like, they have an entire forest behind them. Walk into it.
Well, that's the unfortunate thing about this movie. Like, it is a lot of fun. It's campy. It's goofy. But, like, the moment you give it an ounce of thought, the whole thing shatters. It's just over.
Yeah, you're kind of right. Like, we mentioned the Bible salesman. There's a point where, like, the Bible salesman and his hitchhiker split up, but we see the Bible salesman again, and he's trying to sell some Bibles to, like, a waitress in, like, a different truck stop, I guess, and he runs outside. He's got his suitcase full of Bibles, and he gets smooshed. Like, why are you out there? You see what's going on.
Oh, a little disagreement there. The guy that got blinded by Diesel, he got smooth.
Sure.
Bible Man got love tapped.
Yeah.
Right. He got pecked on the back, and then he just decided to jump into a cistern.
Yeah, you're right. We do get him just, like, laying out of sight of the camera for half the movie, so I guess there's that.
Well, not to draw another Austin Powers reference, but, like, he lays in that filth for, like, a day. He's like, please, can someone help me? I'm very badly hit by a truck.
Even when the kid, baseball kid, through his adventures, by the way, we need to come back to that. He ends up in this same little trough, cistern, whatever you want to call it, the little ditch. And he's like, hey, mister, no, wake up. Are you dead, mister? And he doesn't make a move. And then as soon as he gives up, it's like, ah, I'm alive, help me. You couldn't have said something like 20 seconds ago?
Fucking jump scare.
Yeah, you got to have that.
A lot of little bits like this telegraph as Stephen King be like, don't worry, it's scary, I wrote it.
Yeah.
Yes.
The fucking ice cream truck. That's what I wanted to talk about. You got baseball kid, like, riding his bike and being stalked by an ice cream truck, menacingly playing the little tune. Is that scary? I can't tell.
I think like little nuggets like that are a window into like the best version of Maximum Overdrive, if there ever was one. That kid basically leaves that baseball diamond as if like everything got blipped from the Avengers. Like, he's just rolling down the street. Like, what happened here? And like people are hanging out of their houses, all dead and whatnot from various, I don't know, electronic related deaths and stuff like that. And then, like you said, the ice cream truck starts rolling up in a really genius shot. You see the kid, he looks over, the camera looks over to what he's looking at. You see this thing crawling down the street, and it come back and the kid's gone. I'm like, okay, brilliant. Then the rest of the movie happens.
Yeah, there are just little nuggets of brilliance in here, but man, there's a lot of that piss that you have to wade through.
We've talked about scenes that happen, things like this. Just shit that has to happen to get from A to B. This is an A to B moment. How to get the kid into the circle. Mm-hmm. Well, they go through the cistern, etc. There is a scene where they have now acquired guns from Boss Hogg. It's a wonderful scene. 10 out of 10 if you guys have never seen this film. Just the scene where he's asking about what kind of guns we got. We got everything, Billy. Now leave me alone. Let me shit in peace. 10 out of 10. But he's got to wade through waste. And I don't know if it's scripted. I don't know if it's supposed to happen. But man, Emilio's hand slips off the side and it splooshes into the water. And that shit splashes onto his face and into his mouth. And you can see real world disdain and horror. And if that is acting, that man needs a fucking award.
It makes you think, like, I brought up earlier, like, how focus is seemingly always in the wrong place. So I'm thinking the focus should have been on writing a better scene, but Stephen King just wanted them to walk through real shit, you know, for the authenticity. So he probably just ate a whole turd.
The authenticity, you say, of like trying to complete a task. Meanwhile, there's an annoying motherfucker, Curtis, the newlywed, by the way, just trailing behind, just uttering shit, just like, oh, how's it smell up there? Oh, did you get some in your mouth? How'd it taste? Ha 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 ha. Please stop talking.
Don't you hate escort missions?
Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah, hold X to leave them there, and then you gotta come back. It's like the Ashley one in Resident Evil 4. You gotta go lock her in a room.
There's always, like, it's always somebody that won't stop talking, and this time it's fucking Curtis.
You expect him to be really annoying, then get really dead, but you know.
Unfortunately.
Newlywed instead of newly dead, unfortunately.
Oh. Yeah, I like how when they start talking over this mission, it's like, oh, there's This is to go out and get the Bible salesman. They don't know about the kid yet, but it's to go out there and like the bigger guys are like, I'm not trying to be a hero today. And Curtis is like, yeah, I'll go. Wife is like, no, you let some of them bigger, stronger men go. Girl, nothing in the world would get me out there fast enough. If she said that to me, bitch, please.
Have now by proxy forced me to go.
100%.
And like to circle back, like this is the part where like all these trucks are getting a little thirsty and they need some gas, right? So instead of asking politely, of course, they hire a Jeep gun. It's the movie's only way to get across that these things are, I guess, more dangerous than they already are. Oh shit, it's got a gun.
A gun.
I wonder if there's any moment behind the scenes where someone's like, Mr. King, are we making Terminator? Is that what that is?
I mean, no, I think Mr. Emilio, during that monologue just before this big last scene, he goes into, like, he channels his dad in Apocalypse Now. He's trying.
He gets a little wacky in the tobacco. He, like, almost, like, kind of pre-calls some of his Billy the Kid from Young Guns. He just starts... starts to be like yeehaw and slapping shit around like, you know, he's not about to die or nothing.
Well, he's probably like, well, I seen Daddy do it. I seen my brother do it. He was even pretty good in Platoon.
I loved you in Wall Street.
I mean, I might only be a member of the Breakfast Club, but boy, I can wade through some piss.
Those were just a couple of guys, men, at work.
Ooh. Young Guns 2.
D2 is what that hooker's gonna get, right? I don't know.
Well, they do wind up sleeping together in this like arbitrary scene. It's so weird.
You even make love like a hero. Oh.
Now that we have everyone gathered together in one place so they can be killed, we get what I would say the most iconic scene of the film. Eric, I know that this holds a special place in your heart. I'm going to hand it on over to you.
Oh, yeah.
But I have to ask the question posed by AC/DC's frontman, Brian Johnson. Who made who?
Well, the answer is pretty clear. We made
We
you.
made you.
We made you. Okay, love her to death. The waitress goes nuts, and she just starts barking at these things, these trucks, because she cannot comprehend the situation.
She had a little incident like this early too, but this is the real one.
Yeah, and she just goes berserk, and she starts shouting AC/DC lyrics at these trucks.
We made you! These machines don't have a mind of their own. Like, they're not sentient. Yeah. This is aliens.
Is such a thing even possible? Yes, it is.
Next thing we have is all these trucks want to have their truck-ussies filled up.
Oh, man. Don't think about it. Just don't think about this whole scene. It makes no sense. As soon as it happens, right? Like, you immediately think, just wait them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why don't they they're running out of gas. They don't have a big advantage over you because they're dropping like flies at this point, but they want you to fill them up.
They got a machine gun, bro. They got all the advantage. They basically level the gas station by unloading into it, saying, hey, come out here and fill us up. Morse code, beep, 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 come get me.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, maybe. Like, there is like a short, brief mention that they should do it because the trucks are so heavy, if they decide to storm the place, you know, they'll just fall into the basement or whatever below.
Yeah.
But we get an entirely too long of a scene of Emilio Estevez getting bullied by Peterbilt and Mack trucks.
What a little bitch.
I was genuinely kind of uneasy with this truck tapping a grown man along like one little slip.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, complete agreeance and complete credit to Emilio to let his faith be strong enough and whoever was sitting behind that wheel to continuously bump and push him with a real fucking life Mack truck. And dude, aside from the sexy gas pumping that we get for the next 15 minutes, that's the highlight.
No, get out of here with that. They're turning Emilio into a cuck. The next thing you know, Mack Truck's going to be on that bed, on that cot with his girl. He's going to be sitting in the chair in the corner.
Oh, that truck is literally macking on his girl.
100%. Yeah, Peterbilt ain't just going to be built. It's going to get some other action too, you know? The next thing you know, these trucks are going to be telling Emilio and the rest of this crew, like, hey, if you're good, you can take some money out of the till in the truck stop. They're going to be paying these boys. It's going to turn into a job. These aliens are capitalists.
Nice.
Here's the new boss, same as the old boss.
In 9 hours, and I'm only paying you for 8.
Yep. You're going to work for 9. We're only going to pay you for 8 because you're on parole and I make the rules.
That's something that's kind of like brought up and thrown away. Because like not only do we find out that he's kind of like a troublemaker or whatever on some program, but like nearly all of the staff is too, but he's the only one that gets a special cut.
He's the hero, damn it. He's the one that goes and gets the rocket launcher and starts blowing shit up right after Boss Hogg showed him how to use it.
Yeah, by the way, we find out about this
Yeah.
arsenal of guns and weapons, rocket launchers, grenades, everything. We find out about this like pretty early in the movie, honestly. I feel like this could have all been ended by a couple of grenades and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody just overwhelming Boss Hogg because he's just a fat dude with a key.
No, you're right. I think it's like the only little drip of any kind of foreshadowing that happened in this movie. Which means it's surprising that it took him that long to use this arsenal. Like, what the heck? Do something.
You know what else is pretty random aside from his just happened to have a cot, just happened to be on parole? He just happens to know how to sail.
It's brought up that he is in fact a college boy multiple times to let you know that he's smart. That man's got some college.
Your mom goes to college.
Went to college, knows how to sail, robbed a supermarket.
Sometimes you just need a bunch of Huggies.
Is that what he...
Yeah, he went in, Chandler, they talk about it. He had a pantyhose on his head. He stole the Huggies. His wife picked him up. They dropped the Huggies while getting chased to a musical interlude. They had to double back for the Huggies. It was a whole thing.
He's still a kid.
Anyway, y'all want to wrap this up?
Yeah, that's like their entire plans. Like, hey, we're finally absolved this place. Let's go sail away because, trucks can't go in the water, bozo.
Absolve this place, meaning the bulldozers have taken the entire truck stop down with them.
In a move, once more, that could have been done an hour earlier.
An hour in the movie, really like 24 hours in the actual time frame of the movie. Like, we wasted a lot of time just fucking around.
As one would. These are trucks come to life. Are they friendly? Are they not friendly? Are they Autobots? Are they Decepticons? These are questions people had to find out before they started fucking shit up.
They're more than meets the eye.
And so they have to escape. They got to go and grab a couple Uzis, which suddenly are enough to blow up Mack trucks, a couple spare rockets, and they're going to get on this sailboat and they're going to sail off into the sunset because the wind isn't a robot.
The wind isn't a robot yet.
But wait, fellas, we're not done yet. We have to thin the cast a little more before the credits.
Oh, yeah?
Just before they step onto that little schooner and escape with their lives, one of the other fellas, I'll just say yokel number 4, he just stumbles over to a car, happens to have like this dead lady with a ring on her finger. He decides to help himself, and he pays for it with his life. But not just like getting run over, but like exploding like that radioactive guy from RoboCop.
You just needed one more, Just needed one more.
You just needed that one stark reminder that it could be you next.
Yep. They make a special point to strain no motors. Just sail. Just the wind. Just in case you didn't know how sailboats worked.
It's the big green goblin truck. And he says, vroom, vroom, and they say, whoosh, with their rocket launcher, and he explodes. And look, they didn't want to blow that truck up. Straight up. That explosion was fucking hokey and low budget. And they wanted to keep it. They wanted to keep the front of that truck. I stand by it. And then they get on a sailboat and they sail off. Happy ending.
I get it. The truck's an icon and stuff like that. And who wouldn't want to own a vehicle that every day looks like, fuck you, Spider-Man?
They had to save it just in case there was some chance that there was a Maximum Overdrive 2, Maximumer Overdrive.
For me, I would always watch this movie. I don't care. It's start to finish absolute fucking schlock. There's very, very few redeeming qualities of this film. The acting is beyond subpar by just about everyone besides Emilio Estevez, who's really, 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 for whatever reason, going for it. I gotta say, it's still just so fun to watch a mess on screen where you can just genuinely turn your brain off and go, what the fuck? All right, I'm in. So Maximum Overdrive, you get 2 big burps from me.
Right out of the gate, movie not good, but it's still a good time. I just have to recommend it. It's everything's wrong, and I feel like you just have to experience it. It's goofy, it's corny, it's kind of special. This movie is the only movie that Stephen King ever directed and wrote, and boy, is he an incredible writer. Go watch it.
You know, I have to kind of disagree with both of you. This movie is not very good, but it's really good. This is really good. This is fun, and fun is what makes movies good. I had a great time watching this. It's stupid as all hell. You'll have a good time. Just watch some people getting smooshed.
Well, there you have it. That was Maximum Overdrive. If you have any strong feelings about the movie or the show, leave it in the comment section below.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. Be sure to bash that little bell icon so you don't ever miss what we have brewing up next.
Follow us. We're on all that crazy stuff. We're even on YouTube and anywhere and everywhere podcasts are available. Give us a listen. Sometimes we're funny. Sometimes we take things into Maximum Overdrive.